Don't clock out late, no problem. I worked for a hotel chain restaurant as a busboy, and had lots of other little side jobs besides working the floor, mostly helping to move stock off of pallets and stuff like that. Sometimes I would clock out a little late if shipments came in later or it was a busy day plus large shipment always guaranteed another hour on the clock. We got a new manager who looked at my time card during her first fortnight as a new manager. She was real aggressive with me, asking me why I clocked out so late, like, so what's up, you're playing video games on the clock for an hour. You just hanging out getting paid. The rec room had video games. I explained that I was unloading pallets and she said, you're a busboy, that's not your job. You clock out at 9. We have a payroll to make and we can't do it with people working extra hours because they didn't work hard enough during their shift. And #X200B. Okay, fine. And #X200B. Finally, about a month later, it was summertime, and we get this really late delivery of a bunch of dairy items. The head chef received all, and then had me start unloading it. This is at 8:45 p.m. I told him, Chef, just to be clear, Miss Weatherby said that I have to clock out at 9. Chef. Well, I need this thing unloaded. Me. I've got 15 minutes and then I get in trouble if I'm not clocked out. Chef. Do your best. 8:46 p.m. Go get the dolly. The dolly was taken by the banquet people, so I find it and start moving stuff. 8:53, first load on the dolly. 8:58, unloaded and back to the pallet. At 8:59, I stopped what I was doing, left it all there, and walked directly to the punch card machine. 9 p.m. on the dot, I punched out. And #X200B. The next day I got a call from the hotel's general manager, asking me why I left all the dairy on the pavement. It was left out overnight, and hundreds of dollars worth of stock was spoilt. Yes, I had to clock out at 9 p.m. GM. Did you think it was a good idea to leave the milk outside? Me. No. GM. Then help me understand why you didn't put everything away. Me. Miss Weatherby was very specific that I was not to clock out late to unload pallets. She said that's not my job. GM. Did it occur to you that the chef needed to know this? Me. I told him I needed to clock out at 9 p.m. GM. We've lost hundreds of dollars and wasted all this food. Me. I would like to go back to the way it was, instead of having to clock out right at 9 p.m. on my evening shifts. GM. Don't do this again, clock out when the job's done. And #X200B. Outcome. Nobody ever mentioned it, and from on I clocked out when I needed to. Not a real juicy outcome, but it was still nice to have happened. The chef is responsible for the milk. It's not your job to receive calls from the GM. Everyone but you should be fired for incompetence. Chain of command goes both ways. GM should have given those directives through your supervisor to reinforce the idea they are responsible for the directions they issue to you. Too many bosses handing out conflicting orders leads to confusion. No one else saw the stuff sitting there all night. Doubt it, they all ignored it saying, not my job. Chef pushing the blame to someone else too. All because someone new came in and had to make waves before knowing what was going on. Expensive and wasteful lesson, but the managers learned it. Fuck this GM. Response should have been as follows. My manager, your employee, told me to clock out at 9 p.m., no exceptions. Her not wanting to pay me an extra $10 to finish the job is what cost you hundreds of dollars. Now ask yourself, should you be yelling at the barely over minimum wage frontline staff, or the manager who gave the order? If an employee set me straight like that, I'd be apologizing quickly and addressing the correct employee. I hate penny pinchers that have no clue how the job is done. Dude, I want to go home too, but the job got to get done. Wanna save a buck? Cool, thumbs up, good for you. Instead of unloading, you could have told the head chef, Miss Weatherby told me that I'm just a busboy and that it isn't my job to unload these shipments. And then go and play games in the rec room until 9 p.m. As a busboy you don't get paid for responsibilities like that, the managers and the chef are. The new manager was right about this not being your job. Your chef should have called your manager to ask you to make overtime or find another person who does this job for him. Or do it himself. While it was technically MC and certainly fits this sub, I would argue that your action were not malicious because it wasn't your responsibility to begin with. Not sure this was really a win. A few extra bucks is nice, but so is being able to plan your life around a finish time. Plus you got shit on twice in the process. Nope. I'm not taking the blame for this. That's on chef. Half the job is following up and making sure stuff gets done. Edit. This pisses me off actually. Not only did chef not do his job, he threw you under the bus. 'Cause for sure you weren't the first one the GM spoke to. GM should know better too. Which is why you still have a job, but fuck that place. Two different managers are chewing out your ass for listening to each other. That would be an immediate walkout and a fuck you from me. Miss Weatherby got her ass chewed TF out. We have a payroll to make and we can't do it with people working extra hours. Location flag, 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 location flag. So should I ask the GM first before following my manager's instructions in future, or just when it comes to clocking out? If it makes you feel better, the fact that you didn't hear about it again tells me that Miss Weatherby got chewed out by the GM. Fucking Miss Weatherby. Sounds like a lot of work for a busboy. It also sounds like uncredited work thinking face. Your GM is an irresponsible piece of shit. Weatherby didn't understand how kitchens work. She should have brought it up to the chef, instead of changing things behind his back. But someone should have caught that the dairy was not put away. There should have plenty of people there after 9. I love how they jump all over you instead if the obvious thing of speaking to one another instead. I was a restaurant manager for a while and never understood this. Your labor isn't time and a half, your labor is a half. I'm paying somebody to do the job that you're doing in order for it to get done. It sucks that it's like $5 an hour more expensive or whatever, but that's the extra cost, not the $15. Why didn't the chef unload the milk? In a nutshell, what do you mean, you won't work for free? I need to know what Miss Weatherby had to say about this. Did she say anything cold sweat smile? Much as I hate to see food, milk wasted, the new manager deserved it for insulting you, implying that you do nothing during the extra hour you clock. The new screw told you to clock out exactly at 9, the chef didn't care and asked for your help, and the GM used an accusatory tone even after capitulating the point. Jesus, that's more red flags than a parade in Pyongyang. It's bullshit that the GM went straight to chewing you out. None of this was your responsibility, you were trying to pitch in and help others and you got thrown under the bus. Love the use of Fortnite award worthy. That's some classic Weatherby right there. No point crying over spoiled milk. Had a supervisor like that for a while. We'd have our shift change meetings and would usually clock out at 8:15, 8:30. We would discuss the previous shift issues, safety issues, items or equipment that needed to be watched, and upcoming projects and other stuff. He got upset because we were costing him overtime. He said, I'm no longer paying you guys after 8 o'clock. The thing is, he wouldn't show up to the shop until 5 minutes to 8. He got upset when we walked out at 8 because he didn't know what was going on. We said if you aren't paying us after 8, we aren't going to be here after 8. I work for a grocery store, several managers including me, but I'm the lowest. So when one tells me to do something that's not my job or I'm not comfortable with, I get my store manager involved, and generally the store manager looks at both me and the person that told me to do something, and 9/10 the store manager sides with me because I've been doing it so long, we think alike and I'm the only manager putting in 12 plus hours a day while the rest are salary. And sometimes leave 3 hours before their scheduled shift ends. Hard work and being logical, in my opinion, wins over your boss's boss every day of the week. I'm sure Weatherby got hers even if you didn't hear anything. If not, there'll come a day, for sure, when that crappy managerial skill will bite her in the behind. It always does, no. Sometimes making them pay the cost is the only way to get somebody's attention and make them realize they've set up a stupid policy. Lol. Yeah, this is a red mark on your file. Miss Weatherby got out clean, unless she was dumb enough to leave a paper trail. Start looking for a new job. Of all people for this to fall on, it should have been the chef first. You know what's worse, it's the type of situation where people would probably think worse of you for disturbing them for warning that you were clocking out with a bunch of milk left out, rather than demonstrating the consequences directly. Do this extra work but don't spend any time on it, heard that many times. Shit like this just makes me appreciate my job, and more importantly, my union, more and more. Slightly similar thing happened to me recently. There wasn't any rudeness on the GM's part, however, I'm now being told I need to clock out at a certain time, not a minute more. Should foolishness arise, I'll post about it. Nothing worse than a bullshit manager coming in and changing shit to their own, but fucking up other shit in the process. I would be scared to come back to work. That chef would have a knife with your name on it. I've worked kitchens for years. Doesn't matter if you're following orders. That mistake would get you and the manager fired. Props for the gall to leave the milk out, my friend. Hay must have moved things along. The meek person that I am would have clocked out then moved the shiz in. When will they learn? Adherence to a strict schedule is going to bite them on the ass. Annoying that you didn't get a sweet taste of victory by the GM chewing our old Weatherby. I am sure she got blasted for that. Proud of you. Red tape baby mama drama of the bureaucracy kind. It makes that song, Dilemma, by Nelly and Kelly Rowland seem simple by comparison. Fuck those kind of people. Anticlimactic indeed. I guess I've just got accustomed to the cathartic work-related stories over at Anti-Work. Open mouth smile. Good job, op.